it's your girl Victoria, back to you with another review for Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 14, called New Groom, Who Dis? Literally, this whole episode was the wedding of Michael and Chloe. So not really much to take from this episode, but it was a nice, heartfelt episode that kind of gave me a little glimmer of hope for this season, because if it wasn't for them coming on this show to get married, or Michael's second time attempting to get married, this show would be down in the dumps. I mean, the show's still down. This season's still down in the dumps. But because we have this wedding of Michael and Chloe, it kind of gave me like, okay, I have something to look forward to. But from the previews for the rest of the season or next episode, I don't know. It seemed like they're going to be on a downward spiral as well. Anyway, so let's get started with the beginning. Becca and Austin, they're going to Philly to see his family. So I guess we don't film them at all seeing his family. Maybe they didn't want to be on camera. So we didn't get no other scene with them for this whole rest of this episode. So, okay. We then have Michael and Chloe. We're at their wedding day. Michael video records himself saying that he's ready but nervous, understandably so. And, Chloe's also so ready but nervous and saying that she's shaking and stuff. And then we have everyone else. They're going to be at the wedding. Even Lauren, Orion, and Claire, even though they're not with their, I guess, scheduled spouse. And then we have them exchanging gifts because, I'm not going to go through the whole getting ready, the conversations people had. Look, we're past that. Okay, this is episode 14. So we're going to go straight to the main points. So they exchange gifts, of course. Michael gets her Tiffany & Co. necklace, and Chloe, I believe, gets Michael cufflinks. So that was cute. And then we get to the ceremony. Now, while Michael's walking down the aisle, I'm looking at his hair. Like, it's nice, I guess. It definitely fits his whimsical personality. However, I'm just like, I know the wind kind of messed it up a little bit, but I'm just like, Michael, this is not working out. Okay. It's just not working out. Even after the wind done blew it all over the place, I guess someone said they had some hairspray that could help him out with. They obviously didn't do nothing because it was still looking a hot mess. And I'm just like, I'm glad you cut your hair. Okay. Cause if I had to choose between all this hair going on, what this is, and your after party look with your hair cut, I'm gonna choose the after party because this is but he went through with it with his hair and whatnot. And we get to Chloe. She's about to walk down the aisle. Obviously, she's nervous and she feels like she's gonna throw up. This is what every bride says at this point. So I'm just like, girl, you're not gonna throw up. Like, unless if I see you like actually throw up, or unfortunately hear you throw up, gross. I'm not gonna believe none of these women say, because they all saying they're so nervous and, oh, should I do this, and blah blah. The mom shows up. So supposedly her dad is not there because he's battling health problems, so he couldn't make it. But the mom is there, and she's there to support her and walk her down the aisle, and she's so supportive. I love the way the mom talked to her to kind of calm her nerves. Like, look, we were all strangers at one point. Just because you're not meeting in the traditional way others have does not mean it's not going to work out, doesn't mean it's not meant to be, blah blah blah. So it's just like, clearly the mom could feel a whole different type of way and think it's a load of bull. But the fact that, in this moment, obviously her daughter is nervous and all this stuff, that she was so supportive. Like, look, y'all strangers, but we were all strangers at one point. I felt like that was like the perfect words to try to calm her down. And it's like, I hope to be like you one day whenever I have kids, lady. Because, I want to show my kids that I support them in all ways, shape, or form, Even though I may not agree with the way they go about things, but for them to know I always support them no matter what. Like, I love that. That was a very genuine moment between her and mom. And in this whole moment also, I was kind of thinking like, her dad has health issues, so that's why he couldn't make it. Cameron should have started off with that too. That's when she said that about her dad, my mind immediately went to Cameron. I'm like, Cameron, if you would have said this from the beginning, then Claire, it might have kind of helped you in connecting with Claire. But clearly you didn't. You lied. So here, you at where you at. Anyway, we didn't get to the ceremony. All goes well. I'm not going through details of the ceremony. They did vows, and they kind of seem like similar persons. They're both happy. They both smile, whatever. They go through the vows. They say, I do. Michael says, I definitely do. And Chloe says she does. And, they're pronounced husband and wife. They kiss, all that. And all's fine and dandy. So they go to the back to talk. Chloe lets us know that she's attracted to Michael. And Michael admits that, she's the second choice. Like, he don't... Okay. For those who don't know, sometimes, I have moments where I'm just very 100% transparent. He don't say this word for word, okay? He don't say, he was the second option, but I just got to cut it to the nitty gritty. I got to go straight to the point. He let her know she was not the first choice. She was the second option. And, the guest that was on his side was the cast of Married at First Sight of the current season that they're filming now. So from what she tells Michael, it seems like she's not fazed at all. But then we find out later on that, it's kind of concerning to her. Look, you should have just been honest with Michael. Like, okay, that's kind of, concerning and whatnot. But, maybe she had to process it a little bit because that's when he just first told her. That's when she just first found out. So, okay, I'll give her that. So the other couples of this season, the cast, are outside and they're talking about Michael and Chloe. Claire's saying all these nice things about them. She sees the connection and whatnot. And we got hating ass Emily talking about, oh, she don't see it. She don't see the connection and stuff. Look, Emily, just because you having riffraff with your relationship don't mean you need to SHIT on everybody else in the relationship. You did it with Keisha at the after party last week. And then now this episode, you immediately hitting on Chloe and Michael, saying you don't see no connection. Girl, please. But you saw connection with you and Brennan talking about there's chemistry. Okay. Emily, clearly, this is a, passive aggressive response to what you're currently dealing with in your current marriage and relationship. So seek help. Okay, instead of trying to SHIT on everybody else's relationship and what they got going on, maybe you should focus on yours and realize that, you're trying to make fetch happen where there's no fetch to happen. Okay? Stand up. Anyway, so then we have Michael and Chloe. They come out to join them. And they pop bubbly together and toast to their marriage. After that, Michael and Chloe go take wedding photos with the family, wedding photos together. The pictures turned out cute, which Married at First Sight, I will say that, whoever y'all choose as photographers for the wedding, that's the one thing y'all do correct, because the pictures always turn out cute no matter how much chemistry or non-chemistry there is between people. The pictures always come out nice and lovely. So I'll give y'all that. Other than that, do better. So then we get to the reception and Lauren and Orion have a little chit chat at the table. I'm not sure who Claire was trying to talk to because she was like the fifth wheel at this point, even though technically Lauren and Orion are not together, but they were together. So pretty much Claire is the fifth wheel at this wedding. And it looked like she was trying to go back and forth, trying to talk with Lauren, but obviously she was talking to Orion and then trying to talk to Claire and Brennan, but Brennan don't really be having much to bring to the table for the most part. And then Emily, she just too frustrated in her relationship and situation that, I feel like there's not much for her to say either. So she's becoming low-key a Brennan. And so while Orion and Lauren's talking, they realize that, they have issues that they still need to work on. Orion's in therapy. I think Lauren's in therapy as well. And I'm just like, did y'all just get in therapy after y'all decided to split up? Or were you already in therapy during this process and in your marriage? And if not, then see, this is another problem we be trying to say to Married at First Sight, but they don't want to be listening to us because, I don't know, they think we like this type of drama, but clearly we don't. There's so many people that's dropping from, like every season, there's more and more people who drop. And from the other reviewers that I watch about this show, they're struggling to even continue to make content and reviews for this show. I'm still going to do it because I ain't no quitter, and, I still watch the episode, so I feel like if I watch the episode and already talk about it, I might as well continue to talk about it. But I can understand why, some people are just, like, over it. Like, me and my mom talk about every weekend when I go visit her, like, we talk about Married at First Sight every weekend. We haven't talked about Married at First Sight since, like, episode 5 of this season because we're just so over it. So I don't know what they're going to do, but y'all, like I said, do better. So for Lauren and Orion, it seemed like they kind of realized their wrongdoings, and, they're glad that even though they didn't come out together, they came out better on the other, a better person on the other side, whatever. So Orion asks for a hug. Lauren says, of course, because she's a hugger, and they have a little long hug, linger on the hug and whatnot. And I'm just like, is this gonna make y'all want to get back together? Because if it does, like, keep us out of it. Like, we don't need to spin the block again, okay? Like, because there was no block to be spun anyway, because there ain't really much happened in your marriage to begin with. But please, let's not spin the block. Let's okay. We realized our wrongdoings. We're better now. We could be better for the next person, not for each other. Just please don't spin the block. We've seen the previews, but I hope it was just a facade that Married at First Sight producers usually do to us. So we don't have the energy for this. This is episode 14, but we're over Lauren and Orion. So please let this be it. Please, producers, please. We can't take this no more. Okay, we cannot take this no more. Please. So we move on to Chloe. She sits with the girls of Married at First Sight. Okay. And, she lets them know that she is concerned that, the experts didn't see her as the first selection and, she's not meant to be there. So that's when the girls reassure her that, everything happens for a reason and she's supposed to be there. And, she is the correct selection, blah, blah, blah. Michael's a great guy, all that stuff. So hopefully that reassures her. And we'll see what happens moving forward with the relationship. We then have Michael talking with the guys of Married at First Sight. And he was pretty much asking for advice of like the obstacles and whatnot. And Brendan, surprisingly, this was the most Brendan has talked all season, in my opinion, because he went through a whole spiel to tell Michael, just kind of go with the flow and, the experts know what they're doing. And I'm just looking at him like, are you sure? Because it seemed like you ready to... I was going to say something. I mean, not something mean, but just the way that he's been acting. It seemed like he'd be ready to toss Emily over the ledge of the balcony because it just... I don't want to say that because I don't want to talk like that, but it's just like the vibes, it gives very much so... It gives very much so, the ID channel. So, but I don't want to talk like that. I don't want to talk like that. But Brendan, he has vibes. Brendan has vibes. Anyway, so like I said, it was the most he talked all season, and I guess Orion concurred with him and whatnot. So that was cool. That whole scene with the guys, I'm just like, let's move on, please. Let's move on. Like, y'all just talk. Y'all just a load of bull. Y'all just a load of bull. Because Brendan want to talk all optimistic, but I'm like, why don't you talk like this in your own relationship? Like, all this effort you're putting into talking to give Michael advice, you should be trying to give yourself advice to work on your relationship with Emily. Because Emily, you getting her to the point where she letting loose on everybody because of what you put her through in the house. We then get to Michael and Chloe. We have them cutting the cake, and a slice of the cake falls on Chloe's arm. Michael licks it off, whatnot, and the traditional, frosting on each other's nose and face. So that was cute. And they was kissing a lot, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, look, good vibes. I feel like Chloe generally is attracted to him, like she said. So that's why she's like, just based off his energy, liking it and kissing it. And I feel like with Michael, he's just happy that she didn't say no at the altar. So he just really putting his all and putting all his work into this wedding and reception. So that's the vibes I get from both sides. And then we have Claire, because remember, she's the fifth wheel. Or, if we including Michael and Chloe, she really the seventh wheel. And, she's missing her boo thing, Cameron, even though he not her boo thing. And she didn't really want him to be her boo thing during the relationship. But, since she's the seventh wheel, fifth/seventh wheels, making her feel kind of alone. So she tries to call him. And in my head, I'm like, ever since y'all separated, it seemed like Cameron don't want nothing to do with you, Claire. So why you keep trying to bother this man when clearly he showing that he don't want to be bothered by you? But she calls him. He don't answer. She leaves him a voicemail saying she misses him. And I'm just kind of like, Claire, you acting like you wanted him all this time and he left you, and now you're in distress and, wanting to get back together. Like, I don't understand. What do you want, Claire? Because I feel like maybe it's not necessarily want him back as like a husband, but you was considering him like one of your guy friends that you probably friend zone, but you just want him around just to feel like you have a companion, but not necessarily in a romantical type of way. Like, I don't know what spectrum of the side she's on, but I'm going with the latter. Because you show no interest in this man during our relationship, but now it's like you're like all over him and like wanting to talk with him, miss him being around you and all that stuff. And it's just like, what? So whatever. She gets back and tells Lauren and Emily, he didn't answer. Lauren said he's probably asleep. Lauren, it's nice of you to make excuses for Cameron, but I'm sure Cameron was awake and saw her calling, and he's like, I don't got time for this, and didn't answer the phone call. It was going back to watching videos on bikes and whatnot for his bike shop. Okay. And, they all talk a little bit, and that was it. We then, there was all, saying how they're having a great time. And I'm like, are you sure, Claire? Because you was just saying you miss Cameron. But now you having a great time. Okay, whatever. Everybody parties, and then Michael talks to his in-laws, and pretty much let them know that Chloe was the second choice. Okay, once again, he don't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing, but pretty much let them know Chloe was the second choice. And they feel bad for him and call him a strong man and whatnot. Ask him how he feels about having children. He said he's not really keen on having kids, but if she wants kids or to adopt, then he's fine with it. And then moving on to Chloe talking with his friends, she says that she's glad the experts didn't tell her right away that she was the second choice, because if she'd known that prior to getting married, she probably might not have gotten married. And I'm just like, why? So it's like you made him seem okay. You told Michael the way you expressed it when he told you was a second choice, that like it wasn't nothing and it was meant to happen. You then say you was as concerned with the girls about being the second choice, and they try to reassure you that you're meant to be here. Now you telling his friends that had you known before, you wouldn't have went through with the marriage. I understand it sucks to be the second option, technically. I can understand that, but now to the point where it's just like you probably wouldn't have gotten Chloe, don't think too much about it. Take this from a overthinker myself. I overthink everything. I overthink everything, which I'm still trying to work on, but clearly, Rome wasn't built in a day. So I'm still working on myself. Please don't overthink this second option thing. I feel like the experts did this on purpose. Maybe it was the first option, but they had to shake up the season, so that's why they probably had a decoy come in and to hurt Michael's feelings, and now here you are. So because they be playing a lot. They be playing a lot with people's hearts and emotions and feelings. So I wouldn't be surprised or put it past them that they kind of did this on purpose. That's why we don't know who the girl is, because she really wasn't chosen as Michael's wife, and it was probably you, but they just had to shake up the season, and that's why they did what they did. So she also says that she's concerned that Michael hasn't fully healed from that first selection, and I'm just like, Chloe, you might be right with that. You might be right, because he's still saying that was the biggest embarrassment or something in his life or something, and I'm just like, you sure, Michael? Because I get how that can be embarrassing and stuff, but don't put this as your biggest like or thing that happened to you in life, because F her. So then we get to the talk of kids, and Chloe said she don't want to have any biological kids, but she's always open to adopting, because it don't make sense for her to have kids when there's so many kids out there who need to be adopted, which I can respect. And at first I was just like, oh, was Michael going to think about this? But then when he was talking with her peoples, and he said he's not really keen on having kids, but he's open to adopting and stuff if that's what she wants, I'm like, that's cool. And I'm glad that you kind of not keen on having kids either. But it's like, I know in a relationship you have to compromise. But these are one of those things where it's kind of like, if you don't want to have kids, just say you don't want to have kids. Now, she said she, doesn't want to have biological kids, but does that mean, do you even really want to adopt, or do you just, if you had to have kids for the sake of your spouse wanting to have kids, then the only way you would have kids is to adopt? I just need clarity on that, because like I said, I'm a very technical person, and when people tell me things, it's like I have 5 questions to ask in regards to what you just told me, because there's a lot of ways you can kind of go about what you said. I'm just very technical person, and I thank everybody who I'm close with, because they have to deal with this on a daily basis for me. Anyway, so after that, Brennan and Emily, they talk, and Brennan's excited for Chloe and Michael for their honeymoon. Emily, give her a little attitude and ask him questions like why he excited for their honeymoon and whatnot, and he's like, oh, so he could give advice if they need advice. So Emily, she's just going down a dark hole at this point. She tries to pretend that she's bubbly, but we see through past it, Emily. Like, you trying to act like everything's going good and you're fine, and, you know, ain't no Emily like a wedding reception Emily. And I'm like, that may be true, Emily, but I don't feel like you're drinking to have a good time. I feel like you're drinking to drown your sorrows and the what you're going through with your current relationship. Because after that, Emily gets loose, you know, on a dance floor to the point where I think she drops another guy's drink on the floor. And Brennan, he's watching her. He's annoyed by her being a loosey goosey. And he said he's done for the night. And I'm like, oh, Lord, Brennan, what you about to do when y'all get back to the apartment? Because that's giving like, oh, that's giving the wait till we get home vibes. Which I said, this is why I said earlier, Brennan's giving kind of like throw her off the balcony type of vibes. And it's just very concerning to me. You know, so Emily, like your friend said in the next episode, you better run for the hills, because I don't know. Brent, I'm praying for you, girl, because now you're starting to project what you're going through on everybody else, and we're not having that. Look, we feel bad for you, but at the same time, you're not going to just be talking to me any type of way and trying to catch an attitude with me. Okay, because, you know, Keisha Knight Pulliam, she better than me, boy, because, you know, back then I used to take it, but nowadays it's like, I'm going to look at you hella crazy if you're going to be trying to talk to me and try to get smart with me over your little situation. Anyway, I'm being so dramatic. After the whole having a good time reception, they get into their car, right off into the moonlight. I'm talking about Michael and Chloe. They get to their hotel room. Michael carries her in and helps her undress. And, you know, to be silly and goofy, after she takes her makeup off, Chloe puts her eyelashes on her forehead. And, you know, they kiss and cuddle in bed. And it looks like it's going to be a grand old night. And from what we see, because that was the end of the episode, from what we see from the previews, they're going to have a good honeymoon until it's time to get ready to come back to reality, come back to the States or wherever they went for the honeymoon. Chloe, being the perfectionist that she is getting kind of nervous about, you know, starting life together in reality. And she says she don't know if she can do this. And I'm just like, why she got to say those specific words? Because now that's going to have Michael have flashbacks and be like, oh, she going to leave me too. Which I feel like they're just doing this for the dramatics of it, for us to entice us to come back next week. But let me tell you something, Married at First Sight producers. Y'all be playing in our faces all day. This is season 17. We already know how y'all play in our faces, okay? So whether or not y'all want to, you know, big up the previews for the next week, for the ones who are dedicated to this damn show like me, we still gonna come back next week, okay? But for those who are done with Married at First Sight, you could do whatever you want in the previews for what's gonna happen next week. But, you know, that's still not gonna make them come back. If they're done, they're done. There's a lot of people who's been done with this show and they have never came back. Understandably so. So y'all can do whatever y'all want, but it's not gonna make people want to come next week. Like, oh, I gotta watch the next episode. It's just making us like, what did y'all lie about? Because y'all do this all the time, and it comes out to be nothing like what the previews done showed. So y'all could stop that. You can stop that at this point. But that was the end of the episode. We'll see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to it, I guess, based on the previews. But at the same time, it's just like, regardless if the previews was good or not, I was still going to come back next week. So what y'all doing? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I'm so done with this show, but like I said, I still watch and I still come back. So it is what it is. If you laughed at least once, please subscribe if you didn't laugh. We're going to be here next week. So more jokes are coming. Hopefully you can laugh then, subscribe then, and comment down below what you thought about this episode. Be easy, breezy, lemon squeezy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.